Conversations with JT and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is going. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo.
Yo! Alright, it's Tuesday night, man. Tuesday night, Classic Conversations with JT and Lo.
And that's a cop.
And as you can see, my man JT's not here tonight, man. He's on film, on set again, doing something that Pretty Ricky does. But we're going to keep moving the show along real fast, man. MJ, everything good?
Everything good, man. Good week.
So as you can see, we got a full panel tonight. And we got some more folks outside the panel. So it's going to be a full show, man. So we're going to get right to it. And then we'll do the introductions. Well, we'll go ahead and do introductions now. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, brother.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Joshua Stewart. I am the co-founder of Ordinary Odds. Got our own brand, got our own shoes, clothes, all the above when it comes to swag and drip. But of course, I'm also one of the founding partners of One House Global, digital entrepreneurship hub, where we're just really teaching people different skill sets from engineering, trading, investing, e-commerce, all those things.
Dope.
What's up? My name is Shay Stanley. I am one of the co-founders of You're Perfectly Imperfect. It is a 501c3 nonprofit. We basically support youth in marginalized communities, financial literacy, sports, and mental well-being. Those are some of the things that we cover. I'm also the co-chair for Next Gen, this amazing committee that I'm sitting here with tonight.
Outstanding.
Let's get it. It's Rashad Williams, the CEO of Tax Group Pros, a network that increases your net worth, a community leader, the organizer behind the CEO Hoop Session. I'm also a committee member here with the Next Gen. And I'm glad to be here today, brother.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Outstanding, man. So just from the titles alone, you can tell this conversation is going to get good tonight. But listen, first things first, man, we're going to do the house business. All right. Make sure if you're following us right now, Classic Conversations, make sure you subscribe it. On the side of that screen, man, you're going to see the heart button, man. All you got to do is hit that heart button. All the different icons pop up. You can like, share, do all those good things, man. Give all the different pounds you can for us, man, you know, because all that stuff helps our
algorithm.
So make it shoot up tonight, all right? Let's make it shoot up. And as always, man, tell a friend, tag a friend.
Tell a friend.
Yeah, it is. All right, so we're going to jump right into this first conversation, this first topic, man. We ain't going to waste no time tonight. A lot of things changed on the political front this week. President Biden decided to step down.
Damn.
He
If you step down, then you fall down.
out, shots fired. But you know, he stepped down, man, and he nominated basically Kamala Harris to be the next president and running. So let's just get everybody's thoughts on this situation we got in the country right now. Feel free to chime in.
Well, I was looking at, not necessarily a political standpoint, but more so, we've never really seen this before, right? So, one of the things that was concerning to me, when you vote early and you decide that you want to go one way, what are we going to do with all the people that already casted their votes? Do they get an opportunity to cast another vote? There's certain people that Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, is going to attract that President Joe Biden, ex-president, I guess.
Not yet,
right? She's still president, right? But it's going to be people that was not attracted to him that are going to change their decision. So I'm curious to, what are we going to do about that?
Okay.
I feel like it's a very sad time. It's certainly a time that I've never seen before. Our country is very deeply divided. I think some of the rhetoric is sad on both sides. I even had a conversation with my son where they were poking fun about Joe Biden being old, and I said, it was a time where we respected old age. And there's a backup plan for him being an older man. He has a vice president that would step in. But that's neither here nor there. He did what was best for the country. I don't really want to take a political stance, but I support her, obviously, as a woman. I think women are strong, powerful, and amazing.
Let's get it.
And so whoever she puts on that ticket, people can decide whatever they want. Vote your conscience, vote policy, whatever it is. But I just think that we all need to try to come together as best we can and do what's best for the country.
That's a fact.
Sure. I'm not big on politics by any means. I truly, the presidential, election, as I've grown older, I've started to figure a little bit more. It's not as important for my people, I don't believe. I think we got to do better at politicking ourselves. But I think it's more closer to the governors and the mayors in the states that you are actually in that really affect us.
Vote locally, think
local.
globally.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
local
You know what
is
I'm saying?
important, but I think we realize too that the electoral college should not be anymore. Like it should really be the people.
Yeah.
Trump never would have been president had it been the people's vote. Whether someone wanted him to be president or not, but I think the popular vote really should be the way.
Yeah, either way, though, I truly don't know if us as people, we really control the presidential election. I don't really have that belief in me.
Well, if you don't put a voice in there, if you're going to talk shit, vote.
Right.
Because, and I think the thing that's always hurt us, we lost our voice. Now we're basically entertained by shiny things. And you got to look at the generation now. It's been tainted through everything that everybody accomplished in the 50s, the 60s, and early 70s, and everybody's grown and prospered from. You being a Morehouse man, you should understand that.
100%.
And you see that part of it, but then there's no follow-up. And then you got to look at, we just now, in the last 2 years, probably getting honest about what the change in rap has done to our communities. Nobody in this room, but the community I'm talking about. And we can't continue to try to move forward and throw them a bone. What they've been doing for years. President Obama didn't do it. He was great as far as healthcare. He's going to be considered one of the greatest presidents ever. But when it comes to, he did more for the LGBTQ than he did for black Americans directly. And that's my only concern with her. I would like to see, because think about it, if a white president gets in there, which you've always had, what have they done? They've had no issues. And if somebody black gets in there, at some point I'd like them to address our issues. They're the president for the whole country, but they also got to be the president for their own people, their own kind. It's nothing bad. Anytime somebody black talks about circular or anything, it's bad. It's it's the return of the Black Panther Party, but Little Italy, everybody else does it, Jewish American League, everything else that people willingly give to, but as soon as you mention anything black with organization, the first thing they want to mention is Malcolm X and Black Panther Party, which is nothing wrong with that if you're black,
Right.
But the stigmas that carries, just like somebody saying the KKK to white people. So I just hope that if she is elected, she's going to remember she's black first.
Nah, I think
Right.
she did that already. I'm not sure if you're aware. She actually came to Atlanta, and I can't remember the name of the event, but she was actually interviewed by the members of the EYL organization, and she had a private meet and greet, which I was invited to, and I was present for. And this event catered to entrepreneurs and being able to bring more funding to businesses. So,
That was recently.
this was recently.
Exactly, because what happened is they were starting to get it, the black vote was fading a little bit. A lot of black males are deciding to go Republican.
Right.
So he took that carrot out there, but where was the carrot the first 2 years? You understand what I'm saying? Everything she pushed at that point, she didn't know she was going to be running for president. She was pushing Biden's agenda. Right. And I just hope she holds it and runs with it, because when she got, when she went to the Senate, she was Indian Harris. She wasn't black American Harris. And that's exactly, so that's part people are overlooking. And I just hope that she doesn't do a Clarence Thomas on us. I'm all for it. I'm gonna vote for it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do a Clarence Thomas to get shit.
Let me say this though.
Yeah,
when
please.
Obama was in office, and I don't disagree with anything you said, but we'd also have to remember that a president has limited powers. So he could present something, but that doesn't mean it's going to pass.
Exactly.
And that doesn't mean that he couldn't have been more vocal or more supportive of our people. But one thing that you did say that I totally agree with is that as a people, we have to stop talking about things. Mm-hmm. We have to change the narrative, and we have to actually start doing something. I think that for me, now at this phase in my life, it's about a legacy. My conversations, where I go, what I'm talking about, what I'm reading, what I'm watching. I need to make sure that I'm putting things in myself that I can share with someone else, share with my family, because knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like, right now we all need to be at a point where we're trying to build legacy.
And I want to also extend some grace to her because being at that event, it changed my mind on quite a few things. The topics that was talked about, it was a very limited room. It wasn't something that you could buy a ticket to. It was something that you had to be invited to because you're already doing something. So I look forward to it. I definitely look forward to it. And I know that it's going to bring some change. And sometimes when we're caught up in the storm, it's hard to see when the storm is going to settle. Because when you're in it, it just feels like it's never ending.
Yeah, but as a people, we've allowed a lot of people that have been to elected positions that get to those positions and they forget who they are. And my point is, the first term with President Obama, I love President Obama. Mm-hmm. He was a great president because that health care, we got into socialized health care. Everybody deserves health care. But what I mean, and there's nothing wrong, don't take that as an anti-LGBTQ statement. All I was simply saying that the second term, I would have loved for him to do an address to us as a people, and we talk about and quit talk about it underhandedly. There's a lot of people in our community that are being held back because they still have the mental shackles of slavery. And so the ones that are constantly making excuses instead of moving forward, the Democratic Party has traditionally placated them by making sure welfare goes through, making sure Section 8 goes through. Not enough to prosper, but just enough to get by. The inner city school systems need to be revamped. Right. That's a conversation I want to have with her. There's no grace involved in this because we want her to do is let our voice be heard. She speaks on it when she goes to these churches. If people speak to her about valid issues in our community, she's going to make a stance and answer to it. And then at that point, she's going to be held accountable for it. That's all I want.
Yep, call to action.
Well,
closed mouth don't get fed.
So real quick, I don't want to cut y'all, but we got to... This was a short topic, so we can't stay on too long, but I just want to get one quick answer from everybody. Do you think it was the right move for him to step down and nominate her?
1,000%.
I do, based on the climate.
The climate where Joe Biden was, for sure.
Brother Mike?
I think it was too late. I think he knew the issues were there. It's obvious they were there for months. I think we wouldn't even be having a discussion if she could win, if she would have been given a whole period 2 run. Because she could have set her policies instead of trying to shore up his dismal policies.
Exactly.
You got a good point.
A week ago, we didn't know this was going to happen. It's where we are now, and my perspective is, let's see where we're going. Let's just move forward. This is where we are.
And vote. Like, people died for us to have that right. So I just say vote. Local is important, but president is important as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, real quick, man. Make sure you tell a friend, tag a friend. Make sure you subscribe right now. If you watch us right now, go hit that subscribe button. Go hit those likes on the side of that screen, and we'll be right back. Classic Konversations with JTLO.
And that's a call.
Florida court made a decision to dismiss all charges against Donald Trump. U.S. District Court Judge, what's her name, Aileen Cannon, makes a ruling after hearing in which Trump legal team urged her to drop the charges. Donald Trump's criminal case on charges that he illegally retained classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago club was dismissed on Monday after a federal judge sided with the former president and ruled that the special counsel who brought the prosecution had not been properly appointed. What y'all think about that, man?
A bullshit?
What's that cough MJ usually does? That's what it is. Hey, yo, and we back, man. Classic Conversation with JT and Lo.
And that's go.
And we're going to jump into these topics today, man. We got a lot to discuss. So there's this platform. Well, first of all, let's introduce two new panelists real quick.
Cedric Hill, Director of Business Development for USG, and also the founding co-chair to the Next Gen Committee.
And my name is Nicole Marie Spadamosi. I'm an art curator. I'm also CEO of Innovative Freedom Tech Company.
Okay. All right.
So you all have a platform coming up in August, right? This new gen. What's the exact title for it?
It's the Next Gen.
Next gen. What's the whole platform though? The conference.
Oh, the conference is the National Black Business Conference,
National Black Business Conference.
which is a conglomerate of 3 organizations, which is the National Business League, World Conference of Mayors, and also the National Black Chambers of Commerce.
So how did this get started?
I just had a vision. I just saw that there was a disconnect between the elders and the young entrepreneurs. And when I travel, I go to a lot of conferences on different levels, and I see that there's not an intentional engagement, especially to the conferences that we actually attend. And I was trying to figure out how do we change that. We had a lot of disconnect, like via COVID and many other separations, and the younger generation is not doing the same as traditional business, like the elders. So we're trying to figure out how do we get the elders' attention so they understand the young entrepreneurs, and the young entrepreneurs know who the elders are, who paved the way for them to do or have the access that they have now.
All right, so your statement calls for a new generation to lead commercial and black business enterprises. What qualities and skills do you believe the younger generation possess that make them uniquely qualified for the leaderships?
I think they leverage technology for sure. They leverage technology.
Oh,
For sure.
absolutely. Yeah, I think they leverage technology. Not only that, I think that we have a new generation that has dealt with a lot of hardship, right? Like we dealt with COVID, we dealt with like financial breakdowns. So navigating those skills have changed the way that not only do we shop, how we socialize, and just how we communicate in general. And we're more open to partnership. Before you had gatekeepers, you couldn't really get through to next door. But the new generation is like, how can we partner? Like we need to pull each other up. So it's different.
So, go ahead.
Well, I have something on that. Having worked around Atlanta APS and dealt with our youth a lot, I think one of the things with inner city youth you should do is have you may already have it, so it should more be a question, do you have it? But something that introduces the need and idea of technology to inner city youth. Because there's a big void there, because if you look at the map scores, Baltimore reading, math, and all the subjects failing. So if you introduce it at an early age and tell them AI it's coming, it's not something they can slow down. So if you don't prepare them on a young age, you'll be having the same disconnect that you have now with the elders, because they're going to be looking at you like you have 3 heads. If you don't teach them, you need to have 3 heads, or maybe 4, to get forward. And so is there a part of you that's going to get to the youth and push that?
Oh, absolutely. We have some people who are going to be coming to this event who are actually AI experts. I mean, these people have created AI platforms for Microsoft, Google, the DEA, the FBI. She does a lot of work in regulatory. And so we understand that there's a big need for that. And so we want to make sure that we're giving them actionable skills, things that they can actually do, versus like we talk, you know what I'm saying, and nothing actually gets done.
There you go.
So we want to give them the things that they can actionably do and be able to engage in those things, whether it be in the library or whether it be in the comfort of your own home. That's really one of our big goals.
Intentional engagement, that's the word, being intentional of what we're doing. You know, we have to be hands-on, boots on the ground, given those opportunities, and that's what the platform is for, to show that, to show those opportunities, to show the people, to give them the motivation that look like us, talk like us, that you have these figures, these public figures that you can look up to. So that's the purpose of the platform. Our age range is from 17 to 40, so we're all targeting our high schoolers in order to give them the opportunity. So some of them, as you know, being in high school, you know, especially about to graduate, you don't have a real idea of what you want to accomplish. So maybe this platform can be that eye opener and say, you know what, I may want to do this, I may want to do that. These are some good people, these mentors that I met here, you know, that have this kind of business, something they might not even thought about. They might have some type of art skills and never knew they had it and knew what it was for. And because they came to this conference or they met certain people, they were able to do that. So it's more so about giving the opportunity. And that's one of our problems in the community, is that we never had the opportunity. So that's one thing that we want to give, is the opportunity, because that comes with the opportunity, comes with intentional engagement.
Yeah, I like AI, and like you said, it's here. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But my fear with AI and the younger generation in general is they want everything fast. Like my son early on was like, Mom, I make more money selling my electronics than I do working at Walmart for a week. So please don't make me do that. And their father was like, don't kill their entrepreneurial spirit in them. And so what I did is I formed a business with my children. We've had 2 now, and I stay on the back end, because what I realize is they're fast. They're using AI in terms of, you know, personalization, risk management, branding, all of that, but they don't understand the back end. They don't understand the legalities of things and how things should be working. And so what I've done for my kids is they want a fast dollar, but how do I teach them how to run a business effectively from a legality standpoint, reputational standpoint, risk standpoint? Like, there's other things than just making a fast dollar and using AI to pop stuff out.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah,
bridge, that's the bridge.
Yeah.
So with that bridge, right? What are you looking for the older generation to assist the younger generation to make a successful transition?
The transfer of knowledge.
Knowledge.
You know, our elders, if you pay attention right now, our elders are, you know, they're our elders. They're at their point. And who's next up? Who do they know? Who are they going to see? So we have to be able to bridge that and show them that, so they can do that and feel comfortable enough to say, you know what, I see something in you. Let me take you under the wing. Let me coach you. Let me give you the guidance that you need in order for you to excel in whatever fashion that you need to. So I think that's the most important thing, the transfer of knowledge, which is also meaning the transfer of wealth as well.
Absolutely. And wisdom. You know, knowledge is only can be applicable if you utilize wisdom to make good decisions. And so I think that from what Cedric and what Shay was saying is that everything moves so fast that a lot of youth have forgotten the ability to critically think, and our elders haven't forgotten that. So learning how to critically think and navigating our spaces in ways that's advantageous, not only for us, but for the future.
But it's certainly up to us to do our part, and it's a lot to be taught. I teach financial literacy. I'll teach them about credit reports. I can teach them about budgeting, all of those things that they're going to need to buy a house, to buy a car, to get a loan for a business, and all those things. But then there's the technology part. So I have to partner with other community organizations to build out a more robust program so that we can touch more. Because I can't teach everything. I can't be a jack of trades and all things. But I was so happy to meet all these amazing individuals on the committee, some of them that also have nonprofits, where we're already talking about getting together, strategizing, and coming up with a more robust program so that we can get out in the community and touch more youth.
Unity.
And it's not just here. We're looking to go to Africa too. There's
Absolutely.
32 African countries coming to this. The keynote speaker is the president of Liberia. You know, we have a program called Africa on Demand, where we're actually engaging with technical and high schools in Cameroon and Kenya to actually see what they're doing. What are the things that we can learn from them? What can we pass to them? You know, let me ask you guys a question. What degree makes the most money? The richest people in the world, they all have this one degree. Does anyone know what that is?
It's on the financial, I imagine.
Engineering.
Engineer.
Engineering. Elon Musk, you know, the founder of Apple, they all were engineers. Engineering is something that Africans do very well in, you know, and that's something that we can learn and bring over here and say, okay, these are avenues that you can do and be advantageous financially doing those things as well. So Africa is a big part of the plan too. We can't forget about the diaspora. Like, they're very important to the puzzle piece to the future.
But teaching people what to do with their money. Someone was I was speaking with recently, a financial professional. He said in the African American community that the dollar stays in our home an average of 6 hours.
That's right.
Whereas with the Asian community, it's 20 days.
Yep.
We have to build community. We have to support our communities.
That's right. Absolutely.
So what challenges do you face in this transition, trying to get those two things to merge, the older with the younger generation?
I would say awareness, because the younger generation don't care, because their way of doing business is in their own demographics, and they get into money way easier and faster than the elders could possibly have gotten it. The elders, they sit so high up in their own world that to where they're not recognizing what's down there or recognizing what they're doing because it's not traditional. So the bridging that of trying to get that awareness out to help the younger folks understand what legacy is and what the platform, especially this platform that we are representing by the National Chamber of Commerce, the National Business League, and the World Conference of Mayors, where that is for the culture. And their awareness, because of lack of education in our schools of African American studies and so forth, are not prolonging our legacies anymore. So they don't have that connection to it anymore. So how do we add that? So that's one of the things that I would say that, you know, is probably the hard part, is just making them understand or trying to get them to understand what that legacy meant, the reason why you are who you are, and why you're able to do what you were able to do in today's society. So it's more so of that. So how do we reach them and touch them in that direct, deep way to make them, you know, understand that? So I would say that.
I think a willingness. Like there has to be more people that are willing to pour into youth. Like that takes time, it takes energy, and it takes a special heart and a kind person to want to be able to pour back into youth. And I think we have to have more people that are willing to step up to the plate and be willing to do that.
Yeah, and to show genuine love for the youth. I think like this is like a forgotten generation where they feel like they've been forgotten, that their thoughts and their needs and their wants and their wishes are been thrown to the wayside because of some of the turbulent times that we've been living. But like my goal is to show like genuine love for them, genuine care. When I see someone in a position where they shouldn't be, like you go to a Dunkin' Donuts, they're giving you excellent customer service, they're well-spoken, why can't I reach out to them and try to help them get a job? Why can't I hire them onto my company? Why can't I teach them how to be an art curator or international art dealer or a museum or a gallerist, things that I have access to? Why can't I pass that off to them? So that to me is love. And that's like one of the greatest things that we can offer the youth.
And diversity. Be able to switch it up. Like you have to meet your audience where they are. I can go into a room and talk to youth on their level. We can go into a boardroom and we can talk on a different level. So, I take exception sometimes to the categorization that someone's not acting black. I think you should be able to adjust to the room you're in and to the audience that you're speaking to.
Absolutely, yeah.
So as you're trying to put these pieces together, because you said earlier, you know, they don't care. Are you talking about the youth that don't care?
I'm referring to, when I say they don't care, it's not on their radar. So it's not something for
So
something.
is it not knowing?
They're indifferent.
It's not knowing, but it's also not something that they, you know, when I was growing up, we wanted to know who our certain leaders were. We were watching, I'm gonna tell my age, but we was watching Meteor Man. You get what I'm saying? Like they're not growing up in this same type of world. So the wanting of knowing and awareness is not the same as for us. You know, you're not seeing more of the prolific leaders in these highlighted spaces because number one, like I say, they're elders now. So who's the next ones? Now you see a brother like 19 Keys. He's one of them that stepped up to the plate to give out the information. But how many more do we truly have that are truly? And I'm talking about in that age range, and we have a few more. So I don't want to think anybody's canceling them out. But what I'm saying is that transfer of that knowledge, of that awareness to them, it's not an everyday lifestyle to them because it's also not. It's being taken out of the school, so they're not getting that reinforcement there as well. So that's what I'll say.
I also think it's because they're privy to more information than we were. And I think a lot of it has to do with, I would say this, they're much more intelligent, definitely than my generation were. And I think they see through the bullshit. They actually see what someone says, and then they look at what the person actually did. And I think that's the problem with current black leadership. And I think if you guys want to truly make a move, I understand the ones that come to you, but you got to plant the seed in the elementary schools.
Correct.
And put just as much effort into making sure these kids understand the importance of an education, because the ones that come to your conference, they clearly understand the importance of an education and being able to have a task they can accomplish. But the ones you need to touch are the ones that don't have a nuclear family. And they're cut down in that never-ending cycle of production and lower level. And see that you can achieve at that young age, as teachers can attest to, by the time they get to the 6th grade, they're already lost. Because they're so far behind academically that it would take an act of God to bring them forward, or at least teachers that actually care.
Yeah.
No, you're right, and that's why most of us on this committee are actually in the community. Such as earlier, you saw Brother Rashad. We have Sister Nisha haven't spoke yet. We have Sister Shea with her organization, and we have a few other ones that actually also have nonprofits that are also actively in the street and in the community engagement regularly. So that's one of the major core foundations and principles that we stand on as the next gen is being, like I said earlier, being intentional engagement. And it has to start somewhere. And like Sister Shay said, everybody's on different levels.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to touch everyone. Everybody here is on different levels. So how do we bring this together, which is to the point of bridging that gap?
Okay.
But it's not enough of us. I will say that, like we were speaking about it earlier, my sister and I, and like there's not enough of us. And as one of my friends said, everybody want to do nonprofit work until it's time to do nonprofit work.
Touche.
That is the truth. I mean, it takes hard work to be an entrepreneur. One of the panels we're talking about is mental health and being a business owner. I mean, you have to find a way to balance your life and find that sweet spot where you can kind of, move forward in a good way. And, what I really like about what Cedric has put together and the panelists, not only, they're all kings and queens in their own right in their businesses, and what they're doing is innovative, is different. It shows that they really care about their businesses and they have records of success. But you're absolutely right, there's not enough of us. Like, we have protested, we have burnt down cities in our anger, we have done peaceful protests, but what we haven't done is we haven't been quiet, strategic, and moved quietly behind the scenes to make things happen. And this is what this team has been doing, and we want to continue that.
And pour love into people, like believe in yourself. You're quality. Like when I go and talk to kids, I always remind, like I the first thing I do when I walk in a room is I ask them to go around and say something that they like or love about themselves. And I make sure that they know you're powerful, you're equipped, you're qualified, you can be anything you want to be. And I pour that into them because you have to work on their confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier the Pan-African diaspora, including your call for leadership. How can black business leaders across different regions collaborate and support each other?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many ways. Let me tell you, I do a lot of business in Africa. I mean, I'm talking Ghana, Kenya, Cameroon, Nigeria, Senegal, Ethiopia, Tanzania. I'm all over the continent. That continent is the richest continent in the world. From a mineral resource standpoint, from a human capital standpoint, Nigeria has so many people. They're on the brink of overtaking China in the next 10 to 20 years. That's how many people are in Nigeria.
Well, they're also the richest oil nation in the world, but your thing you're not mentioning is the colonizers got them by the gonads. It's almost worse than slavery in a lot of ways.
But it's
colonization of Africa, yeah.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Congo,
but,
yeah.
Oh, the Congo, yeah. Well, they do it intentionally. They destabilize these
Exactly.
areas, and so
CIA.
yes. Just joking. No, just joking.
No,
But
not
what
joking.
we're seeing is with these nations, the way they're looking to collaborate is that they want transfers of knowledge. And like if I go to Nigeria right now, I can take $50,000 and have a mansion, like a totally dope house. And people are like, well, I'm afraid to go to Nigeria. I'm afraid to go to Africa, wherever it may be. It's not what you think it is. They appreciate us coming over. I work in the mining and energy sector. So one of my business partners is a copper miner. So we do a lot of business in that. The amount of money that you can do, if you just put in $10,000 with all your friends, you can buy a plot of land, a EPL license for maybe 50 to 60,000, a small one, start extracting copper, and copper is going to be going up in like next 5 years. Sell that. I mean, that's generational wealth right there. That's going to pay for you, your mama, your daddy, your children, and the future. So there's so many ways to make money.
Yeah,
Wow.
you touched on generational wealth. That's absolutely something we as a people need to start, like
Yeah.
using insurance to build wealth. Like
Oh, yeah.
there's so many things that are, as a people, we need to know.
That's how the Rockefellers did it, the waterfall insurance method. Like we don't really. If every black person, I remember somebody said, if every black person had insurance and their life were covered up to $1 million, would they be killing us in the streets?
Yeah. And
I
stop
don't
just
think
having
so.
insurance to bury each other and use it to build wealth.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Hey, man, this is just part one. And listen, y'all got questions, send them over right now, man. This is good stuff right here. This is, we'll be right back in two and a half minutes. Classic Conversations with JT and Low.
And that's the call.
Florida court made a decision to dismiss all charges against Donald Trump. U.S. District Court Judge, what's her name, Aileen Cannon, makes a ruling after hearing in which Trump legal team urged her to drop the charges. Donald Trump's criminal case on charges that he illegally retained classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago club was dismissed on Monday after a federal judge sided with the former president and ruled that the special counsel who brought the prosecution had not been properly appointed. What y'all think about that, man?
A bullshit?
What's that cough MJ usually does? That's what it is. Hey, yo, we back, man. Classic Conversation with JT and Low.
And that's the call.
Hey, man, we're just going to keep jumping right on in, man, to save all time. So, AI tech. Oh, no, hold on. I'm sorry. Another panel just joined, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
So I'm Thomas Dortch. I go by Trey. They call me Lil Tommy, a bunch of other names, man. I was raised by the old heads, but yeah, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised.
D. Thomas Dortch.
That's my father, 100 black man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my father.
That's what I said, D. Thomas Dortch.
I
That's
go
dope.
by Trey, but you know, I run a pretty good transportation company, Atlanta Transportation Systems. We have contracts with MARTA, a lot of private contracting. and then consulting. I do small business development. And I've heard the conversations before I got here, and I try to dabble in a little bit of that, but I'm more like my guy said, I like being behind the scenes and running things that way, but we're gonna make it happen.
Hi, my name is Nisha Glenn. I am from East St. Louis, Illinois, which I call the land of can't get right. I am the founder of an organization called Educated Girls Rock. I am all about encouraging our girls to stay in school, complete their education, and definitely I promote higher education.
Let me read a couple comments real quick. Robbie said, in order to bridge the gap, you have to appeal to each generation, but it starts at home, provide resources, and make sure you teach transferable skills and have things that they can relate to. Mm-hmm. That's a good one there. All right, so AI technology and digital engagement are highlighted as key strengths of the emerging generation of black business owners. Can you share some examples of how these technologies are being leveraged to drive business success within the community?
Come again, brother. Come again with that question.
Can you share some examples of how AI technologies are being leveraged to drive business success within the community?
It's dope. I want to share an acronym.
Okay.
CRM. Client Relations Manager. You can kind of twist it up a couple different ways. But myself and my company, we run a CRM. And how do we operate the CRM? We use it to automate and allow AI to educate, inspire, and motivate, right? So imagine like this. This is just like a typical business that we support, right? We major in tax businesses because that's the lane that I've been in. You can find me on Instagram, New York Tax all day. And what we do is we bring education directly from the IRS to our audience or to our communities. And we use that to allow the business to continuously drive in leads, right? How do you get leads? You have to give something, right? And what are we giving? What are we giving? We giving audiobooks, information that's coming directly from the source, ebooks that's coming directly from the source. But how are we making these assets or these lead magnets? We're using AI. AI is giving us the proper wording. It's helping us to flush out our ideas. When you have that moment where you just don't know what to say, well, say what you can and allow AI to expand on it. And then give it a tone. Tell it how to talk. Tell it how to talk. If anybody knows how to prompt ChatGPT, they understand what I'm saying right now.
Yes.
Once you start to flush out that idea and understand that once you have the conversation like how we're having right now, I can educate you on a bunch of information right now. But how many times am I gonna have to do that in order to funnel in those clients? Well, I'm gonna take the conversation that we had, I'm gonna turn it into an ebook, an audio book, or even a podcast, and then allow it to solicit my potential clients through social media posts, through text messages, through emails, right? And this is what we are doing, Gen X, right? This is what our committee is doing. This is what we're using to be able to create an amazing conference and bridge the gap between the elderly and wise and the young and influential.
Okay, I just want to piggyback on what you just stated. For me personally, I am so thankful for AI. I feel like I grew up in an era where I really had to read. I really had to use books, use maps, use everything to kind of learn and educate myself on the things that I know now. So I'm thankful that I'm at an age now where, as you get older, your patience, everything changes. So by AI finally being available, it just helps my job a little bit more easier with creating. I've always been a creator, but it just helps with creating, like you said, ebooks, workshops, everything, even with podcasts. You can go in there right now and say, hey, I need for you to write me a podcast for the next 6 weeks. And AI will literally generate that for you. And to piggyback on training AI to mimic who you are, I pay for AI. There's a free version and there is a paid version. And I literally pay the $20 a month.
Absolutely.
And I have put in the information to where when it greets me, it says, hello, educated girl. Like, I love it. So it's just an amazing opportunity to be able to have AI to kind of help me with my business to grow. Now, when it comes to our kids, That's the only thing that scares me, because I've introduced it to my kids now, and now they're utilizing it just to get information and not being able to utilize it to kind of build business. So that's where we need to come in and help our students and our youth be able to utilize it to build businesses and not utilize it to be educated on different things.
Absolutely.
So can I step in and sound like a real old head right quick? Because I hear it from my mother every day. She still prints out everything and
Yeah, exactly.
writes
Nothing wrong with reading a book.
stuff. And I have to say, I was a victim of what just happened with this Delta stuff on the tech side. I got stuck out of the
Yes.
state and couldn't get a flight for 3 days because I think a lot of companies are very reliant on tech and they've forgotten how to do things the old-fashioned way. I think you need a healthy balance of both. Because I admit I'm spoiled by AI too. I use it very often, but a lot of the times, companies are going out here and they sometimes can tell when you're using it. It doesn't affect me, but it can affect some young kids who are trying to get jobs or positions if they're using it, overutilizing the tool. But you still have to do some work with AI. Like you can prompt it to say this and that, but you need to make sure you go back and edit and do this and that. So I really am a firm believer in having that healthy balance, because cybersecurity is getting bigger and bigger, because when I think the next wars we see are not going to be physical. You're not going to come at the U.S. and just bomb the U.S. Russia, China, they're going to attack us through cybersecurity, through tech, through AI.
Well, they already have.
That's
They're
that
already
fear.
doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
They already have at some point. So that's my fear, and I just have to put that in there. And like you said, I have 8 children, and they use technology to death,
Yes.
and they can't operate without it.
Nope.
You can
It's a
see the
fact.
attitudes they have, just the way that their demeanor just changes when they don't have these devices. So we got to have that healthy balance.
It's a quick question. Is there a concern about losing your intellectual properties through AI?
Yes.
Losing your intellectual, well, a lot of people are using AI to help build their intellectual properties. So instead of, and I feel like that's a form of gatekeeping. You know what I'm saying? I'm teaching AI because where's AI learning from? They learning from us. They're taking instruction from us. So, there's no way they can steal if we're willing to share, if you're willing to, allow what it can do and what you can do. And that's what the magic of AI and being able to automate, right? Because think about it. We use automation every day. How do you check your bank account? You know what I'm saying? How do you look, when we go to the gym, you know what I'm saying? And we scan that QR code, like when you go to the restaurant, these are all different ways that AI or technology is being used. We got to embrace it. And, to T. Dorch's, point, Trey, I definitely do believe that there is a necessary balance, right? It's a necessary balance. But I also believe that if you don't lean into it, it's going to leave you.
I totally agree with that
Yeah.
point, but let's pump the brakes for a second. I got a couple questions.
Let's get it.
I mean, everybody's talking on the positive side of AI. I think there's a certain part with the arts, and just there's nothing like reading a good book. There's a big
No.
difference between listening to an audiobook and getting your imagination going by actually reading, your understanding the inferences that a author might make and how he's putting it out, and you feel the characters, because there's verbally, when you're actually reading something, it's a lot more detailed.
It is.
And I'm not
Personable.
saying AI is here, we can't stop it.
No.
But there's got to be a fine line between too much AI, because I know I've cussed out many a AI till I realize it's a damn AI, because now the motherfuckers answer you back.
Now, I think that people are using, all right, there's a point, I use AI every single day. And the only thing I can say when I'm using AI, I don't allow it to just, hey, create this and send it. No,
You
there
have to
is still a
personalize
point
it.
where you have to customize it.
Yeah.
We use it as templates. Think about how many, templates can really help us. And then to your point for reading, everybody don't read and comprehend the same, bro. If I gotta use AI for my child, for them to better comprehend, if they don't read on the level that we need them to read on, if whatever's gonna get them to read, I'm using the AI.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that don't use it. I'm not saying don't use
Right.
it. But
Or
you
the
don't want
literacy.
to make it into an ancient skill,
Right.
actually reading. Because when you do that, you're going to lose the arts.
Well,
And then that's the part that I look at, because you look at all Baldwin, all the great authors that you can
Right.
hang on to every word. It ain't the same when you listen to audiobooks. I tried.
And
It's not the same.
In 2 generations from now,
Can't go back 3 or 4 times and read the same page to get,
In 2 generations from now, there's going to be a different conversation about appreciation of AI.
So I got a
Guaranteed.
question for you.
Yeah.
You made a good point though. You said, what is AI learning from? They're learning from us, right?
Right.
Do you think that they're going to pick up those biases, those prejudices?
Oh yeah, it already
Absolutely.
is.
Those other
Absolutely.
things? And that's a fear that I have with AI as well. Is picking up on some of those wrong things. Those people who are at the top who are controlling AI can put us in the same position that we're in right now, and have those falsehoods or have some barriers to our success because they know that we are a minority and so on and so forth. So I worry about stuff like that too. And
No,
when you talk
that's
about reading
real.
book, I have to. I always-
Because you can
I
block
did- I'm
certain thing out.
traditional.
Because how many times you seen an autocorrect when you're writing something? But imagine that autocorrect goes to intellectual properties. If you trying to say, hey, who was Malcolm X? I'm not saying now, but imagine Malcolm X 20 years from now. Oh, he's a radical motherfucker, and they just got that out there. And when you try to pull up anything else, you don't see his greatness.
Right. Right.
They might put, oh, he was a pimp. He's a drug dealer. He was with this. They're not going to talk about his pilgrimage to Mecca. Jim Crow, they're not going to discuss Jim Crow. Even now, if people really understood Jim Crow, we were better off under Jim Crow in a lot of ways. Same thing that happened to colonization of Africa, destroyed Africa. To this day, they're behind. So I think AI has to have, a problem I have, if we can't trust them with literature, how the hell are we going to, who's going to have the button on the AI?
But I think everybody don't understand. You got to go into a development standpoint. There's even boundaries that we give AI. Like there are boundaries that you can
But
literally
that's my
set
concern.
in
Who's setting the
programs.
boundaries?
Who's setting the boundaries? The people that are like myself. I can set the boundaries. You can set the boundaries. It's just about getting into that development seat when you're going inside of the system and you're training your bot or you're training, whatever it is that you're using to be able to speak on your behalf. You can actually literally say, don't say this, or when you get to this point, do this. It's all
That's
about
the problem I have with it right
It's
there.
all about instruction.
Why?
That's the problem I have with it.
No.
Why?
It's about duplication.
No,
brother.
with you, brother.
It's not enough
I'm
of us out
feeling
here.
you. I'm feeling you. But
It gets
just
in the
think
wrong
about it.
hands.
How many of you's going to be? There's going to be a lot of
It's
pink
not.
toes out there.
Hey, we can't control what we can't control, but if we can focus on being able to use the product to the best
To
of
the
its
best.
best of its ability, then great. It's the same thing with social media. Social media was supposed to be a tool to use to spread news and spread positive information, but look at what we got.
Spreads hate.
It spreads a lot.
Misinformation.
No, it's based on what you follow. It's based on
feed.
what you use.
Your feed.
So you might look at my Instagram and see somebody else's Instagram, and you're gonna see
Totally
on my
different.
Instagram news. You're gonna see sports. You're gonna see AI. You're gonna see financial education. You're gonna see what I follow on my timeline. It's about what you follow. That's why we have a choice to click to follow or unfollow.
Okay. I have one more question on this.
Go ahead.
And this, and then I'll stop because I look different.
I'm with
But
this.
I'm just like right now. If you Google Israeli-Palestine conflict, and if you Google it from a I hate stand-ins standpoint, you can say whatever the hell you want. But if you Google it from what the hell is Israel doing standpoint, come on, your shit will go to the bottom of the feed. It's controlled.
I mean,
It's
it is.
controlled.
It's algorithm.
It's just
That's
like,
the
but see, that's my
almighty
point.
algorithm.
Who's going to control that? There needs to be a mechanism in place to control it and have guidelines. There needs to be maybe another amendment put out there, because if you don't, you can't trust. We can't trust. We're in a country that, Tuskegee experiment. Everything that's happened when, Aborigines in Australia were sterilized when they went for health checks. So you're trying to say that this much power in a country, and I'm not just saying America's Western nations, period, that have traditionally destroyed the underclass, which is typically brown skins. Mm-hmm. You're trusting them with a power to exclude knowledge at a press of a button. You can't control the books I read.
No.
But you can control from a simple algorithm on what you're gonna keep from coming.
It's all about the
I mean,
algorithm.
I think that's some pie in the sky bullshit. If you ask me, I see we're gonna train our people properly.
Right.
The issue I have is the government, and think
Right.
about it, because they got a yoke. People talk all that shit when they come from Africa, but you got to realize the yoke the colonizers have on Africa supersedes anything that's happening over here. We're free.
I think it just comes down to ownership of
Leave the
platform.
white zone in Cape Town, and you know what I'm talking about.
Right. I mean, it comes down to ownership of platform. We don't dictate the algorithm because we don't own.
We don't own it.
Don't own these platforms. We just get on them. We use them to the best of our ability. We insert them into our businesses. We insert them into our lives. And the way it's going is we are learning more and more. It's only a matter of time before we have our own platform. It's only a matter of time before we dictate what's going on our algorithm or on our timeline or what goes on. I heard this from a friend. They said that in China the timeline on social media versus the timeline in America is completely different. That they said that the timeline in China is more educational.
Thank you. You just proved my point.
No, I understand that. But
my son
listen to what I'm saying. Though, what I'm saying
China.
is, once we gotta infiltrate this. All right, we fighting a war too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta learn AI. We gotta make sure that we can train AI, because once we learn how to do that, then we have this checkmate. Now we can create our own platform. You know what I'm saying? And then once we got the funding, now we can push the platform and market it. You know what I mean? And it probably exists already. You know what I'm saying? So it's out there. It's just a matter of time of us continuing to learn. If we don't learn their platform, then how can we create our platform?
Thanks.
Well, I feel that, but the only thing I would get in the future is you push on it. Push the social conscious nature of it, because just like China blocks out for periods of a time where their people can't even get the internet. Imagine a society where you can't read, there's no more books, because it's all in these little, Kindle books and all that shit. I have novels. And you can read, I can pick up that beat, you can say something about issue 9. I'm looking back, nah, that's bullshit. But when you shut down the internet, like look what happened with the planes with Delta, I just think that knowledge needs to be in a paper format, just for and the two.
We call that the library, baby.
But also, I understand that. But my thing that I'm saying is that we don't go to the libraries.
You
Have
right.
you seen the DeKalb County Library?
You right.
But
Kids
my
don't go
point
anymore.
is that we have to. I'm saying when you guys have your think tanks,
Right.
also have a portion of it
Right.
where people think about how can it be used as a weapon against us,
Absolutely.
and just don't look at it as a positive, because there's more ways to fuck us than help us when you look at that.
So
Right.
what you're saying is, in our think tanks, when we're having this conference, let's start looking at it from a perspective of how can we defend, right? How can we make sure
As
that
a
this is
defender,
not a
it can't
problem?
just be a circle
It
jerk.
can't-
You got to look at the negative aspect of it also.
Well, I think that is obviously it's a marathon. I think myself, if I'm not mistaken,
I
myself
understand
and you,
that.
we are from 2 different generations, I believe, right?
yeah.
And just like you all passed the baton, which you must, once your leg is ran, you got to pass the baton. And where we are right now, all we can see is what's in front of us, because right now we hauling ass.
I understand,
Right.
but you can't haul his ass to the point that you forget the past.
No, we don't forget the past, because that's who,
Okay,
that's who
all right.
passed the
Just-
baton.
You
Yeah.
had,
Definitely
you had a
been-
statement you want to make. Go ahead.
Well, it really wasn't a statement. It was an analogy I want to get back to piggyback on what he said about literacy and reading books. Someone did an experiment with some teenage boys. In the classroom, he put a basketball, he put a book, he put a soccer ball, he put a football. And he told the boys to go up there and get it, which one they're interested in. Nobody chose the book. But guess what was in the book? When they left the book,
Money.
it was money in the book. So that just brings back, like you said, don't forget our past. I love reading, and I really wish that we would get back to reading and bringing literacy back
Book
to our
clubs.
students.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I'm a kid. I'm not proud to say it. Coming up, bro, I was hooked on phonics, bro.
You
I was
should
that
be.
kid.
Yeah, you
I was
should
need
that
to
kid.
bring
I
it
had
back.
to-
Should be.
I had to. I
Yeah,
had
you
to
had some of your
learn.
good old school parents.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good.
But
Encyclopedia Britannica.
what I'm saying,
I just dated
my
myself
point
like a
behind
motherfucker.
that is, what I'm saying, it has to be taught in a more digestible way. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell that story about me being hooked on phonics and actually having to put the headphones on and allow something to read to me so that I can better comprehend. I ain't the only person like that. And I know I'm not I'm not the smartest nor the dumbest person in this room. So if we can use AI to cater to how our children read and learn, right? I have a 6-year-old daughter that's reading, bro. And it makes me, listen, you don't understand how excited I am. I record her reading. Daddy, why you recording me? Baby, I wasn't reading like this at 6.
Right.
So it means something special to me. What's happening is all we're doing all we're doing, oh, that's it? Oh, okay. All we're doing right now is taking what we have and doing the best that we can to push the envelope forward. And that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Real quick, my opinion said if we as people don't use AI, then others not like us will tell it about us, put the black information in so we can write the narrative.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll be right back. Classic Conversation with JT and Lo.
And that's a call.
Florida court made a decision to dismiss all charges against Donald Trump. U.S. District Court Judge, what's her name, Aileen Cannon, makes a ruling after hearing in which Trump legal team urged her to drop the charges. Donald Trump's criminal case on charges that he illegally retained classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago club was dismissed on Monday after a federal judge sided with the former president and ruled that the special counsel who brought the prosecution had not been properly appointed. What y'all think about that, man?
A bullshit?
What's that cough MJ usually does?
Whoa.
That's what it is. Hey yo, we back, man. Classic Conversation with JT and Lo.
And that's a cop.
Dynamic conversation tonight, man. I just got one question for you, brother. Succession plan is crucial for sustained success in any organization. What are some best practices or models that you recommend for effective succession planning in black business enterprise?
Ooh, okay. I mean, insurance. I think that's a good one as far as moving what's next, leaving something afterwards for the next generation to have, but also setting up, a business plan that's longer than a year or two, 5 years, 10 years down the line, and including things like AI technology, changes in the world that could happen to really have success long term. I think for me in business, I've noticed that my previous business, it didn't fail or anything, but there was a change, and I wasn't prepared for the change. So having mentors and people and asking the right questions in place that have been in the world before you is very important to really have a good succession plan moving forward in business.
And tell them how they can follow you real quick.
You can follow me at Instagram, j.stu. Joshua Stewart is my name. And yeah, that's where you connect with me the most.
How they follow you?
You can follow me at Educated Girls Rock on Twitter, Instagram. I just got on TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
And they say you gonna wrap it up for everybody else?
Hey, yeah, if you wanna watch all my kids and my family playing around all day, then go to TW Dorch 3. But as far as this conference, man, this is really big for this community from top to bottom, young to old, everything in the middle. The 124th National Black Business Conference. Go to nationalblackbusinessconference.com. You'll find all of our information. You'll find all the panelists, all the panels, all the hosts. We'll be at the Hilton, Atlanta, August 21st through the 24th. Go register now. I mean, thousands have sold. You got to give a shout out to our leaders on top of the leaders. You know, Said is our leader with the Next Gen Summit. He's done a wonderful job. He's got us together, got everybody hype every day on every call. But we come in with the group over us, which is Ken Harris, Dr. Ken Harris, head of the National Business League, Charles DeBow, and the illustrious. First of all, if people don't know about Johnny Ford, you need to go look up Mayor Johnny Ford. This man has been doing it since it's been done, since it started. But you're going to get so much in this conference. There's some big announcements that'll be coming. But once again, nationalblackbusinessconference.com. Go on and register now. Did I do that good?
100%. That was on the money. On the money, T. Dorch. Outstanding.
Okay. Now this is the part where we go into. You got anything, MJ? For closing?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
The shooting in Illinois, Sonia Massey, 36-year-old black woman.
Yeah.
That was just straight murder.
Yes.
You know, I've critiqued a lot of shootings. I saw the body cam from that. And it, as a former police officer, 30 years, supervisor, that hurt me. Because everything that you don't do in a situation he did. He was called to the house by the woman for help. She was kind. She was thanking the officers. Everything was under control. She goes in the kitchen, maybe just to move a pot that she had boiling off a hot burner, and he starts challenging her. The other officer, automatically, you can't follow him because he doesn't know what the other officer's seen, so he draws down. They draw down on the woman. There's a distance where you got to think about the weapon a person has in their hand. If she'd have picked up a gun, by all means, good shoot. If she'd have had a knife, the distance is there, so, and you have another person. They had tasers. All he had to do is say, cover me, I'm going to deploy the taser. And then gave her the same commands with a taser. And she would have still been alive today. The lady was cooperating, so I don't even know why he was challenging her to begin with. This is one of those cases, unlike George Floyd, where you have a totally innocent woman that called the police for help and she was gunned down. This is the stuff that erodes our community's trust in law enforcement. They moved swiftly, to me not swiftly enough, when they saw that every night when you come off and after that incident, before it got good, they already were downloading it, they saw it. Instead of trying to do damage control and stretching it out, they should have just been transparent and arrested the officer. That has nothing to do with bad training. It has everything to do with that man saw an unarmed black woman with a pot of water at over 20 feet away as a threat. That's what needs to change in America. 100%. And it's not going to change with our protests over shit that doesn't matter. This is something to protest on. That's all I got. It took a lot of time.
Yeah, that was murder. That was murder.
That was murder.
That was murder. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Very cowardly. Very cowardly.
And then he said he was going to shoot her in the face.
Very cowardly.
Double tapped her. Old woman with a pot of water. If she would have threw it, it wouldn't have reached her. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Producers saying, move on. Move on. My bad.
Yeah. So let's go to our top 5. So tonight's top 5 is your top 5 female Olympians. And it's a 2-parter now. So next week we're going to do males. So I'm giving y'all a heads up. Okay. This week we're going to get a top 5 female Olympians of all time. Female Olympians of all time.
All right, I'll go. I'll go on that one. I'm going to like this one.
Okay.
Flo Jo, all the way.
Man, that was mine right there.
Flo Jo.
Flojo, Florence Jones.
Oh, you showing you
You
showing
don't
you
know
right?
who
Well, you
Flojo
showing
is.
you
You
right
showing your
now.
age, man. Good God, if you don't know Flojo. I'm gonna take your black card in a minute, boy.
You gotta help me out. Flo Joe.
Yes, Flojo.
Fast
You're not a
woman
track and
alive,
field
y'all call
man,
it.
She
okay?
did it in style.
You're definitely out
In
here.
style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Simone Biles, of course.
Beautiful.
Jonah Kersey.
Cheryl
East St.
Swoops.
Louis.
Cheryl
Sure.
Swoops.
Okay, man, you take. Boy, we right there, boy. We right
Yeah,
there.
y'all.
Cheryl Swoops. I mean, there's so many. Can I do Carlos? Wait till next week.
That's next week. I said female. Female.
That's a joke. Well, one more. Let's see.
Serena. Serena Olympic.
Yes, Serena wins
Serena
today.
wins.
Yes, Serena wins.
I think
Yes,
Serena.
Serena Williams, yeah.
I think Serena.
And can we just put Sha'Carri Richardson in there?
And I thought
just
that's
because.
mine right there. That's me.
She got.
ain't
She got to win. She got to win a gold. She got to win
You gotta
first.
win to go.
I'm
It's
gonna
okay.
say
It's okay. I'm gonna throw it in there. You mean-
You from Georgia?
No, I'm from Memphis.
Dwayne, you going?
Well, that's Spencer.
Oh, okay. All right. Who else up? Who? You ready?
You named the best 5 right there.
Yeah.
It's got to name some more?
Your 5. You name the same one.
Oh, okay. Well, Flojo was definitely number 1 for me. Cheryl Swoops, Cheryl Miller.
Okay.
She changed the game, and Reggie used to talk about how he used to get his butt kicked. I just love hearing that. Simone Biles, she's still doing it.
Yeah.
It's got to be one more we can put in there. I can't think of another one. I can't think of another one.
Sonya
All
Ross.
right.
They said Sonya Ross in the back.
I guess
Yeah.
Gabby.
Gabby Douglas.
Oh,
Gabby
yeah.
Douglas. Gabby
I forgot about
Yeah,
Gabby.
Gabby Douglas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta put it in there. She met my son and signed a autograph. I love her just personally, but
That's lit.
yeah,
That's what's up.
lit.
Go ahead.
I'm going to pick the same ones. Definitely Flojo, Simone Biles, and Gabby. Love them. Serena Williams. And I'm going to say Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Okay.
Because she's from my East St. Louis, so they're my hometown. Those are my 5.
Okay. Serena Williams for sure. Simone Biles. I'm gonna go Lisa Leslie.
Okay.
Good one.
She's one of my faves. We're gonna throw Gabby in there too. And female Olympian. I got one more in me. Yeah, no, we can go Venus. I guess Venus. I feel like she got to do it.
You know who I forgot though? Ali.
Ali.
Layla Ali.
Oh, Layla Ali.
Was she Olympian?
She was. Okay.
I just
Layla Ali.
remember her name, but yeah.
Shout out to all the women doing it.
Yes.
'Cause y'all,
Can we
y'all
shout
do it.
out our women, our beautiful,
Yeah, our
intelligent
beautiful,
females that are a part of Next Gen? They're our Olympians right here.
No doubt.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely.
All right. We got Jackie Joyner Kersey, Marion Jones,
Ooh, Mary
Oh, yeah,
Jones.
man, John.
Flojo, Allison Felix. That
Oh,
was
yeah,
mine.
Felix.
Can't include man, John. She kind of fucked it up.
Millennial gave one, but that was one of mine, so I'm gonna say that one. All right, that's the only one I have so far. So yeah, Dominique Dawes is definitely one of mine.
Yeah, them the dogs.
Stop.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Say Caitlin this week and Jenna next week.
I'm going Evelyn not what's her name? Not Evelyn Ashford.
Ashford.
Yeah, Evelyn Ashford.
Evelyn.
Yeah, Wilma Rudolph.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Wilma
Oh,
Rudolph?
Wilma from back in the day.
That's real young.
That's a classic one right there. Gotta go Simone Biles, and the most decorated one right now is Allison Felix.
Felix, yeah.
Dawn Staley's a good one.
Sonya Ross.
Okay. Good deal. Hey, listen. This has been a classic conversation at its finest. We want to appreciate you all for coming out. Appreciate you, Said, man, for bringing this outstanding panel. I mean, every conversation was dynamic. I can't wait to see y'all. Y'all gonna enjoy these chop ups. This was some good stuff, man. Congratulations to
definitely keep doing what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck on the conference, man. I know it's gonna be phenomenal. And what you guys are doing, I think, is so positive. So congratulations to you guys, man. This is something that the community needs. So big ups to all of you all for participating.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Give yourself a hand.
Yeah, I know that's right. Absolutely, we'll love it. Let's
Appreciate
do it, man.
y'all.
There we go, man. This is Classic Conversations with JT and Low. It's Classic.
And that's a call.
Make sure you subscribe to the Classic Conversations YouTube channel. Make sure you tell a friend, tag a friend. Classic Conversations, JT and Low, and we out.
And that's a call.